Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries, and you know, I am circumcised. I don't know if you are, but if you're a believer in Torah, do you think you need to be circumcised or not? Well, the scriptures are quite clear on what they have to say, but many people try to avoid this subject because it's so controversial. But today we have a guest on the show that has studied this scripture out and has walked it out as well, and we're going to talk to him. And here he is right now. So really have an open mind and consider has what to say, and look at it in scripture, because everything he's saying goes right on. So here he is right now.
Hello everybody, how are you? Hope you're good. My name is Joe Botha. I stay in South Africa, and it's nice to have Paul here, and it's good to have him talk to us all about raw fooding and the scripture and where it all fits together. Alright, Paul asked me to speak to you about circumcision. Now to me, I've been walking the road of Torah for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And about 2 years into walking the road, 2 to 3 years into walking the road of Torah, I went through the cycles of Torah, and eventually I picked up that I have to be circumcised in order for me to partake of Passover. So I had about a month and a half left before Passover was to come. So I said to my wife, listen, this is the whole story. I have to be circumcised. In our Torah, in our group way back then, the people said I'm crazy. I'm going to be under the law if I circumcise myself. But I said, no. That's not under the law. Torah says that if you want to partake of Passover, you have to be circumcised. Now other people says, if you go and read what Paul said in his word, is basically that you don't need to be circumcised, you just need to be circumcised by the heart. But he also said that then you have to stop doing, when you get saved and you accept Messiah, you have to stop drinking blood and stop idolatry, and you also have to go to the places where you have to read, or where you have to go and listen where they read Torah or the cycles. And obviously if you do this, you will be eventually convicted to be circumcised, because that is what you would find and listen to when they read Torah, that if you go through the cycles, in order for you to partake of Passover, you have to be circumcised. It was very clear, no sojourner, no slave, anyone dwelling with the Israelites may not partake of Torah if they're not circumcised.
Now, you're not saying at all this is a salvation issue, right?
It's got nothing to do with salvation. It's all about a covenant. If you want to cut the covenant and you want to partake of Passover, you have to be circumcised. If you want to be saved and go to heaven, you accept Messiah. You don't need to be circumcised. I'm sure when we get to heaven, we will be circumcised all. But it's not a salvation issue. You definitely don't need to be circumcised to get into heaven.
And how does somebody your age get circumcised?
Well, in my situation, I went to a doctor. I said to the doctor, listen, I need to be circumcised. He said, why do you want to be circumcised? I said, because there's nothing wrong with me, but it's my belief. I read it, and this is what I need to do. The doctor turned around and says, no problem. He will give me a circumcision, and he'll do it for me. And he'll also write a reason why I want to for my medical aid.
So your health insurance actually covered the cost of the
My health insurance actually covered. And you know what was the awesome thing? The awesome thing was that I said to Yahweh, if this is from you, I don't want to have any pain. And I promise you, I woke up, I had a little pain when I woke up, and after that I had no pain. I didn't drink any painkillers, and I went straight the next day back to work.
There's a movement out today, in a New Age movement, to say a circumcision is actually unhealthy. They go so far to say even it's like murder or something. It's crazy. But what do you say to these people that are against circumcision?
There's statistics out there that there's the people, and more so much that Israel women's got less cervical cancer because of the fact that their men are circumcised. And they can say whatever they want to in terms of that, but I don't need to listen to them or to Paul to whether I should be circumcised or not. I need to read Torah, because Torah tells me that I need to be circumcised if I want to partake of Passover. And I don't know who you listen to, but I listen to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And those are the words that he's given to us.
Well, there are a lot of people that don't even understand the significance of keeping Passover and all these appointed times. A lot of Christians that are wholehearted in what they're doing, but they don't even consider circumcision because they don't consider Passover. So can you tie in the significance of the Passover and the feast with the significance of the circumcision as well?
Well, for me, when I started going through the cycles, it said I had to understand that I had to start keeping all the feasts of the Torah / scriptures, whatever you want to call it, Bible. We have to keep them because it is a shadow picture of stuff to come. So if we get one day in heaven, whether you like it or not, you'll have to keep those feasts because that is who our Father is. That is the Father that's given us all his mitzvot, his appointed times to keep. Because if we keep those appointed times, we will know which God is the God that's coming to save us. We will not run after false gods or false saviors, but we'll know, because I tell you what, you tell me which God you serve, or you tell me which laws you keep, and I'll tell you which God you serve.
And how old were you when you got circumcised?
I was about 33 years old.
Do you know anyone your age or near your age that got circumcised like this?
Ever since I got circumcised, I know at least of 4 of my close friends that got circumcised as well. And in fact, because of my testimony, they went to the same doctor. They had it done. And I know of more people via other people that speak to me that got circumcised because of the conviction of Torah.
Is there anything you want to say about this issue?
All I can say is I've done it. I don't have to convince you to do it. You have to go to Torah, read it, and you have to let the Ruach speak to you about it.
Well, thank you very much for joining us on the show here, and thank you very much for helping the Torah community in South Africa and all you're doing.
Pleasure. Thank you for talking to me.
All right, everybody, there it was. This is, like I said, a controversial subject, but Scripture speaks for itself. So don't go off somebody else's opinion. Read the Scripture for yourself and pray about it and see what you feel about it. But all I know is this is not the first time I've met somebody in their 30s who has gotten circumcised after reading Torah, and they felt nothing but blessings and good things after, and none of them ever regretted it. So as I said, I was circumcised on the 8th day and didn't have to deal with this issue, but I know many of you watching it might come up in conversation, and I just want you to have an open mind. So please put your comments and questions below this video. Until then, thank you very much, and shalom, shalom.
Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.